Alright, what's up guys? Higgins in Japan here with another video of me driving and just leaving work, leaving my school for the last time. Yep, you heard it here. I'm changing schools. So for the past 3 years I've had 2 schools. That's not true. The first year that I was here I had 3 schools, and then after that it got cut down to 2. And as of right now, I don't know how many schools I have. And I don't even know the names of the schools that I have. Yeah, as of right now, I'm driving home. It's the last day of school. Cleaned out my desk. Cleaned out my lockers at both schools. And so, yeah, it's time to kind of move on to something else, to new schools, to new adventures and all that kind of stuff. It's a very bittersweet moment, you know, despite having, you know, maybe sometimes you don't get along with everybody, right? Sometimes you don't, you know, minor personality conflicts or things such like that. And they kind of bug you throughout the years, but at the end of the day, it's all minor stuff, and it's all like stuff that doesn't really matter. And like at the end of the day, like I like my routine. So for the past 3 years, I've had the same routine of like going to the same schools at the same time and on the same day, and so like, you know, so it's a new adventure. It's got to change things up, right? You can't always be the same all the time, right? I guess. So yeah, so I'll be switching schools, and by the time April rolls around, April, I believe 8th is when we start back, it will be new schools and new adventures and all that kind of fun stuff. And if it doesn't sound like I'm looking forward to it, I'm kind of not. Like, I'm kind of under the impression of like, why can't teachers, not just English teachers, but teachers in general, just stay at the same schools? Like, you know, like where I'm from in the States, if you're a teacher there for forever, right? Unless there's something like crazy going on, you can literally just stay at the same school your entire life if you want to. Which is cool for me because like I had an older sister. I have an older sister, and you know, to get to hear like, oh, she had this teacher and she got to do this with this teacher, and you know, you got to look forward to that. And some of those teachers were still around, you know, when it came time for me to be in those grades. And so I got to look forward to like, you know, oh, I get to have fun with this teacher, and my sister told me that like this teacher's really cool, and it's, you know, and so you kind of have that anticipation of like, as a student. And also like, I don't know, man, kids are very like, I don't know, maybe they're, I mean, it's easy to, I mean, for me, it's easy to, you know, convince kids that I'm not a crazy person, or convince them that I am a crazy person. I'm not sure which category that fits into, but yeah, like, I don't know, like, there's just something to be said about having some like continuity, and like having the same teacher. And like even the Japanese teachers have to change every couple of years and go to different schools. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, and I've never been able to actually find like a good reason for it. It's just like, hey, let's mix up all the teachers, you know, like all the students had just gotten to know you or had just gotten used to being your teacher or your student, and now all of a sudden they've got to get used to somebody else. And I think, you know what it really boils down to is, oh, my face is really blown out. Hopefully it wasn't like that the whole time. It just boils down to having to give speeches, and I hate giving speeches. No, I don't hate giving speeches. I hate listening to speeches. And so every year there's a big before school party and an after, and like at the end of school party, and everybody that's leaving has to give a speech, and everybody that's coming in the next year has to give a speech, and there's all these speeches, and it's like, really, do we have to give speeches all the time? And if there's one good thing that comes out of this coronavirus, is that we aren't having school parties anymore. Everything's canceled. And so I don't have to give any speeches, and I don't have to listen to speeches. Like, I swear, last year, at the end of the year, there were, because of my junior high, there were 70 teachers, and out of those 70 teachers, like 20 of them were leaving. We literally sat through over an hour of speeches before we could even eat. And I'm like, yo, I didn't spend $50 on this meal to not have this meal. So let's speed it up. So if there's one good thing that came out of this corona thing, is that we don't have to hear speeches anymore. Especially graduation speeches. There were 2 speeches, one by the principal, one by the student. In, out, let's go, let's get out of here before we all get whatever it is that we're all supposed to have. And so this year, one of the teachers said to me, he said, oh, you don't have to give a speech, but you won't have to give a speech because we're not having an end of school party. And so I think he was even like, kind of relieved. But yeah, it's bittersweet, and I gave a speech, and like I said, sometimes you don't always get along with teachers, and sometimes things just, your expectations of how things should go don't always go that way, and sometimes it's not a big deal. And honestly, like, looking back, like some of the things were not a big deal, and you look back, and over the 3 years, I had a great time and had fun, and the little personality things that's going to come with every school. So just a little bit of encouragement here at the end. Like, you might not get along with all your teachers, but it doesn't really, like, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. We're not supposed to get along with everybody. Like, you can't be friends with literally everybody and ignore things that happen. And so little minor personality things, or little, like, just whatevers, just let them be little whatevers and not ruin your entire time at a school. Now, obviously, if a teacher's punching you in the face, then, that's a big deal, obviously. So differentiate between the big deals and the not so big deals, and differentiate between maybe when you should have gone and when you shouldn't have gone through a red light. And hopefully you guys caught that weird backup in the crosswalk. The joys of driving in Utsunomiya. But, so yeah, bittersweet. It's time to move on. Time to move on to a different school, and that's fine. New adventures, new things await. And I'll catch you guys in another video at another time. Hope you guys have a good one. I'll see ya. Peace.